US's tariff on China is 125%. The flip side of that tariff is I think China now has a 84% tariff on the US or something like that. Bro, these men just need to either duke it out or they need to get in a room and have a chat, bro, because right now it is sounding mad.
Where there's blood in the streets, be greedy, and when people are greedy, be fearful. So
we could easily sweep that 71k range, and if
Man
said,
said,
we
tweet 71. Wow.
We can sweep it.
The content presented in this podcast is intended for informational and educational purposes only. It should not be considered as financial advice, and listeners are encouraged to conduct their own research or consult with a qualified professional before making any investment decisions. Crypto flip.
My family lives paycheck to paycheck. No savings, no emergency fund, nothing extra. On several occasions, I have made enough money off meme coins to change my family's life for the rest of their life. But my greediness for more has caused me to lose it every time, leaving me just enough to take a few more gambles and repeat the cycle. Nobody in my family has any idea the kind of money I've made and eventually lost. Sometimes it's hard to sleep, but I keep going with the belief that someday I'll hook another big one that will make more than ever before, and I'll finally smarten up and call it quits.
This guy's never going to make more than ever before. He's never going to get that big fish that he's been chasing. Furthermore, bruv, you had enough money, to take your family out of this deep dark depression, and you decided you were going to keep going so that you could buy yourself a yacht. You don't need a yacht, bruv. I know he didn't mention a yacht. I'm just saying, innit? So I just feel like, bruh, it's your fault, man. The greediness. You man seen that meme, where it's like this man next to a garage door. He puts $1 in and they send him back like 5, and then he puts 5 in. They send him back like a bills. They put the bills in. They send him back and then he takes off his watch, his clothes, everything. He throws it under there, and he gets back nothing. That's what happened to this don, bro.
I mean, you're absolutely right, bro. Like, if you're living paycheck to paycheck, I mean, dude, I beg you, take profit. Take some profit. Take enough that, you know what I mean? If you spend a little bit, then at least you can still save something.
Treat it like a paycheck.
Literally. But nah, my man wanted to gamble, fam. Anyway, I'm telling you, we're seeing in this cycle, I've seen a lot more confessions where like people are just literally trading cryptocurrencies become a disease to these MANDEM, fam. Literally, all because of meme coins. Because it is. It's like the way
Man said man's got trading syphilis.
Yeah, literally. Literally, fam. Because, bro, like, you know how alcoholism is an actual problem? It could be a disease. It's the same thing with these guys overtrading meme coins. I've never really met a lot of people that overtrade altcoins. What people usually do is they overhold it. They tend to hodl till this gets back to zero. So that's what usually happens. But these guys are overtrading meme coins and just not knowing when to stop and just hit a reset button to your strategy. So no sympathy here, man. At least you didn't lose it all. You have something left to keep going. So I think it's a pattern there. Like, maybe you need to just stop completely. That's just my suggestion.
Yeah, I think this guy is he says the typical meme coin trader, man. It's like, maybe on the next one, it's my time. Just one trade away.
All there.
Almost. But yeah, I don't think it's gonna end well for this guy. Although, actually, there's no although. I tried to make it seem as though there's something that could work for him, but I think this is a wrap for you, man. I think it's just a wrap. Unless you're just doing it for support. But
I mean, if you want to keep trading the market, bro, you could just be exit liquidity in it. That's all I'm saying. We need guys like you. Just saying.
Yes, we do. But let's go on to the next one. 26 years old, I've been broke and barely getting by with my bills with my regular job. On and off with the meme coin hype, losing money constantly, money that I couldn't really afford to lose either. Had an extra $50 I needed for groceries and decided to risk it on peanuts.
Okay.
I'm dead.
After getting the coin called in a fairly private Telegram group, I I entered at 80k market cap, and it went down to 23k, and I entered my position for a loss that same day.
Wow.
In less than 24 hours, my $50 would have been worth $25,000. Not even a week later, Peanut goes to over 1 billion market cap, which would have turned my $50 into over $500,000.
Wow.
That day, I sat in my car and cried alone. Nobody knows the money I missed out on simply because I was impatient and thought the $20 I had remaining after it dropped from my entry was worth more than a potentially life-changing win. I will never tell anyone.
Bro, you just did. Bro, you just did. Listen, bro. Listen, I don't know where to start. Dude, remember I just said to you, these men are literally treating meme coin like a disease. Yeah, literally. These men have got they got cryptosyphilis, fam. Because you took your grocery shopping money and you put it on Peanut. After doing such a dumb move, which actually turned out to be a great move, all you have to do is just let it ride. Let it ride. It's done, Bro, it's done. You went on to exit the trade at a loss of minus $30. You thought the $20 was going to change your life. $20.
Well, he needed to feed himself, man.
What do you mean, bro? You listen. The moment you decided to put the moment you decided to put your grocery money on meme coin, you are fasting that night. You are fasting. So keep fasting and just like, you know what I mean. Like, believe in something. You got this tip through this fairly private anonymous Telegram group. You saw Peanut 80,000 market cap, and you exited it because it was only down 23k. Bro, that's 20%. That's never 20%. That's less than that. You missed it on $500,000.
Nah. It's like he lost like 60%, right?
Bro, it's still not the end, bro. Like, my thing is, $20 wasn't gonna change your life at that point. It just wasn't gonna change your life. So why not just hold on and believe in something? And to make matters worse, that $50 could have been $500,000. That would have been the story you could tell your friends, your kids, your generation. You could have set up your life entirely with just that one risky move. Bro, you fucked up, man.
I don't know why this Don sat in his car and cried alone. Because Dons like this, bro, would have never made the 500. He would have never made the 500 mil. Let's say he caught Peanut at 1 bill, which I think it went over 1 bill. But let's say he caught it at 1 bill and he decided to sell, bro. He would have taken that 500. He would have put it into Trump and Melania, and he'd still be holding them bags today, my guy. Like, this guy was always going to be chasing something because he had no strategy. He literally had no strategy. He just said, I'm going to buy it and then I'm going to jump out. So, I mean, he's kicking himself that he missed this, but he should be kicking himself that he never had a plan in the beginning. So, man, I just don't know. He fucked up. He was always going to fuck up. Like, if you ain't got a plan, bro, you don't plan. You fail to plan, you plan to fail, my guy.
Yeah. No true words have been spoken. For me, the way I'm looking at it is I'm trying to put myself in his shoes, right? I'm seeing him think, okay, it's like $50. He's probably an American, but for the purposes of this example,
he's definitely an American, bro. He's definitely an American. Trust me.
So at the beginning of the night, he would say, you know what, man's got Waitrose, about $50. Then it starts slipping, and you know what, I could do a little Sainsbury's. Then it's going Tesco. Then it's like, you know what? Bun Tesco, we could do a little Lidl, a little Aldi. He's like, you know what? I'm going to go to the food bank if I'm not careful, Let me take out this $20 and at least try and feed myself for the night. So that was like the process that was going through his mind. And I get it, but yeah. When you're riding your last little piece of money, then you make irrational decisions that you wouldn't have made otherwise.
Bro, $20, bro. It's $20. Bro, I don't care what you tell me, bro. $20 is never going to change your life, fam. Like, the day... Okay, cool. I might be engaging in hyperbole by saying this, yeah? But back in the day, when it was 2013, 2016, you could still put $30, $50 into something, then it'll blow up on some mad crazy shit, especially if you did the ad shield or you bought the pickle bottom of a bull run. You could have made decent money like that. Those days are over. Over. So I don't understand what he's like. He's screwed. He's finished. I'm telling you. And then there's no point in crying. Just like Ricardo said, you was never gonna hold on to $500,000 anyway. You would have probably exited at $20,000 or even $100K. But my thing here is you compounded a mistake that didn't need to be compounded. That's just my only retort to this. Like, you know what I mean? You made a dumb move already by you using your grocery money to buy peanut. Like and the money you couldn't afford to lose, so you were basically emotionally invested in that trade. You were every time it went down, you're like, like how Harry said, you were wondering if I'm gonna eat tonight. So, you know what I mean? The best way to really be detached from a trade is to probably have a system, or maybe only play with money that you know you can afford to lose. You know what I mean? $50. If you can't afford to lose $50, you shouldn't be trading. I'm sorry, you should not be trading.
That's
like,
a fact.
you know what I mean? You know, like that $50 is some people's transaction fees, man. This is the trading fee, you know. Like if you can't afford to lose $50, you're in the wrong space. That's what I'm saying.
You're not wrong. Welcome back to the Crypto Flip Podcast. I am your host, Harris King, and I am joined once again with my co-hosts, Ricardo and Deji. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube and if you're listening on any audio platform, which includes Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, or wherever you like to listen to your podcasts, please do not forget to leave a review. It really helps us in episodes and we really appreciate it. So, it's another week and another week of tariffs. But this week, in the saga, it really turned up. Trump said, you're going to tariff us, we're going to tariff you, and more. And the market reacted in a horrible way, in what some described as Black Monday. Everything was down. I looked at crypto. It was in 77,000. I think it went a little bit lower than that. Equities were down. The Nasdaq, S&P 500. Anywhere you were looking, everything was down. Tariffs aren't good for markets, and risk on markets are no different. So, what do you guys make of that when you start to see all of that happen? And then obviously since then things have progressed. A lot of countries that were impacted decided to come to the table and make a deal with the USA, and I believe it's still in negotiations. But it was one of the worst markets that we've ever seen. A lot of Asian stock markets came to were at their worst that they've been in the past few years, and that includes China, that includes Singapore, that includes Taiwan, that includes a number of different places. But what do you make of that?
Taiwan had their worst day in their financial market in history, like because of this. Japan saw things that they haven't seen since like the early 1900s. I don't understand. Basically, bro, this is actually a massive deal. Like, we're talking about, we've spoken about the 2008 financial crisis. We've seen movies on it. We've watched it. We've laughed about it. We've heard people say, oh yeah, like, bro, anyone you speak to in finance, they'll be like, there was a pre-2008 and a post-2008. There's a dot-com bubble. Like, right now, we're going through a whole nother financial madness, like, across the world. And it's mainly triggered by Donald Trump doing whatever he's doing. And I see people online, and it sounds like they understand, but, bro, this is actually a huge deal. So I think right now, the markets are in complete turmoil, and I didn't know that, bro. Like, there's only so much forward thinking you can do, and there's only so much knowledge you can have about markets and everything. I don't think anyone predicted that Trump would be this aggressive and would do anything like this and cause this much turmoil in the markets when he was inaugurated back in January, or even before in November when he was like voted in. Like, I don't think anyone really planned.
No, but you know what it is though. Like, I'm not trying to say I saw this coming, but one thing I knew to expect from Trump is it wasn't going to be the same. It wasn't going to be the same regime.
I hate
It was going to be the complete polar opposite. The previous administration kind of placated with his, you know what I mean, neighboring countries, and then like the biggest other player other than US is China. And
Yeah.
China's just basically tired of being pushed around by US because
Bro,
they counter tariff US like what? An extra
Yeah.
85. Trump is like, you know what? We'll give an extra tariff as well. But
I think right now, the US's tariff on China is 125% or something like that.
that's
And I think
crazy.
the tariff, the flip
That's
side of that
crazy.
tariff is I think China now has a 84% tariff on the US or something like that. Bro, these men just need to either duke it out or they need to get in a room and have a chat, bro, because right now it is sounding mad. But yeah, I reckon generally for the market, like gold is still doing well. Regular commodities markets, the crypto market suffering. But as soon as he said 90-day pause, we're gonna freeze on tariffs yesterday, bro. Did you see that mad green candle that came out of nowhere? So we saw Bitcoin jump up from 77 to 82. Now we're at about 81. We saw Ethereum jump from 1450, bro, to 1600. I've never seen Ethereum jump that fast.
Do you know why? Do you know why it pumped?
Because of the pause on the tariffs, the 90-day
Yeah,
pause.
exactly.
Yeah. Except for China. Every other country.
Bro, that's
It's
what I'm saying,
tariff.
bro.
It's
Listen,
not the Chinese tariffs.
listen. Honestly, like I want to echo all the like everything you said, Ricardo. Like I agree with everything you said, and then the way I'm looking at it is like this tariff news. Obviously, like I said, no one could have predicted this. I mean, I certainly knew that this regime was gonna be different. It wasn't gonna be like the previous regime where like you had Biden who was basically on his last legs, and it was basically Pamela was running the country and she didn't do a good job running it. I mean, I'm not trying to be biased or whatever. It's just a fact. And I think what Trump is trying to do is Trump knows this is his last term. So I think he's being aggressive, one, because he wants the Fed to cut very aggressively and kind of end QT because we've had enough. I don't know if you guys noticed this. Unemployment rate went up again last month. And unemployment rate can't keep going up. And inflation rate is going up. Those are ingredients for recession, and it's funny how like JP Morgan, CEO of JP Morgan, Jamie Dimon was talking about how he's hearing recessionary talks. Literally,
I saw that. Yeah.
12 hours later, he's singing a different tune. So it's that there's a lot of noise in the market right now, and the biggest noise is obviously tariffs. And tariffs kind of taken over this whole space, and it's affected crypto in a big way. One of the reasons why I haven't actively trading is because I feel like a lot of people are bidding their hard-earned money, and they're really like underestimating this tariff, the impact of this tariff, because everyone's calling, pick up all currencies in 77K. Yeah, 77K is a sweet bottom for if you've not been exposed to Bitcoin to buy in, but altcoins is still a little bit early. I think if you want to start accumulating, that's fine. I mean, no financial advice, but in my opinion, we could easily sweep that 71K range, and if
Man
we
said,
we can
tweet 71. Wow.
We can sweep it. I've got my buy level at 74K. But if we sweep 71K, because bro, this is gonna go on. Like literally the biggest, like I don't want to worry about EU. EU will figure something out with US. The biggest two players is basically China and US.
China.
Let me
China.
Exactly. Exactly. US owes China money, and China is not gonna sit around and just let you push them around on the playground and act like you're because yes, US is the boss of the playground, but at the same time, China is also a big player too. A lot of the things that you manufacture, how you create your cool new tech, iPhones, AI, all of it is made on Chinese tech. That means built on their land. So it's like they're gonna have to figure out a middle way. And I think in a way, Donald Trump has revealed his hand, not in a way like he's weakened his position, but at the same time, he's revealed how he can kind of put an end to this whole thing. The pause was actually interesting because early in the morning he said this is a good time to buy, blah 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 blah. So if you bought, you're nice. Yeah. If you bought, you're nice. You know what I mean? But at the same time, if you're holding thinking we're going back to 110K, let me think again, because I'm not sure if this is not a bear trap, a bear trap. But I want to say this lastly before I pass the mic to Harris. We've never seen anything like this. Donald Trump is basically moving aggressively. He's trying to achieve a lot in his 4-year term, and I think he can really do it. And I think I'm not for the whole tariff thing. He has to come to a middle ground with China because you don't want to make an enemy out of China. Like you just think about it. If you're taxing them 125, they're taxing you 100% percent tariff. It kind of offset the positive revenue you must be bringing into your country. So it's like just kiss and make up and shake hands. Like there's no need to be. I mean, you're having a pissing contest essentially because you give everyone else a pause, but not China. So it's like there will be some retaliation to this. Obviously, we'll see how the market reacts to this, but I wouldn't say we are close to the end of this tariff play. I think we are a lot closer because Donald Trump has revealed his hand and how we could kind of potentially pull a hand to the whole tariff business because he's not got everyone's attention because that's what he wants in the first place.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the last update I saw was that he's open to talks with China. What the previous
he has to be, bro. Their whole China, so much money. They have to be.
It's coming, bro.
Prior to that, they said that if they don't take down the tariffs in a day, then we're going to hike it up by 105% or whatever it was, and we're going to take negotiations off the table. But now the latest thing I've seen is that obviously they're open to talks. I know that China has a lot of US bonds as well, so that would be interesting if they said, you know what, let me just drop your bonds too.
Oh, bro, don't talk like that. Don't say that. Let's see that. But the market's not ready for that.
And let me not give Xi Jinping any ideas. But yeah, when it comes to this tariff stuff, it's on, it's off, it's on, it's off. And to be honest, I don't really want to talk about it, but it's hard to ignore because it affects every market, including crypto, so drastically that you can't avoid it. So what can you do? There's a number of different things. You can you can hedge, you can stay in stables, you can obviously buy the dip.
I'm tired of stables, man. I need to buy something. I need to buy something.
But sometimes not buying is the best position. Not buying is
I was just
a strategy in and of itself. So yeah, you just have to be patient. I was talking to my friend yesterday, and he was he's mainly in equities, and I was like, he was asking me that obviously all this stuff is happening, and basically what should he do? And I was just like, look, just gave him the Warren Buffett quote where there's blood in the streets, be greedy, and when people are greedy, be fearful. So if he had bought yesterday, he'll be up at least 20% on some of his positions. So sometimes you just have to realize what the macro environment is, and if it's a black swan event, which this kind of is, then you have to kind of be aggressive with the greediness.
So imagine, quick one. So imagine, bro, on last week was the end of our tax year, right? So it went up to until the 5th of April. I decided, bro, I'm gonna cut like 80% of my crypto portfolio back into stables. That means I'm gonna solidify profits where I have profits, and I'm gonna solidify my losses where I have losses. I am so happy, fam. I got out of things like ETH. I sold some BTC. I got out of a long-standing virtual position that was not doing well. Yeah, bro, man, just had to solidify some losses. But if I didn't and I kept it in, let it run through to this week, I would have been fuming, fam. Utterly fuming. So yeah, hold tight in tax here.
Got luck in them losses sometimes, man. Got luck in them losses.
It's true. And someone else who is going to help some people avoid losses, perhaps, is the pro-Bitcoin, a new SEC chair, Paul Atkin, who has recently been announced as the new chair of the SEC. So what does that mean for crypto companies, crypto holders, crypto enthusiasts? Well, having a non-aggressive SEC, an SEC which is, open and willing to deal with the crypto in a positive way, I think it's going to make things a lot better and a lot easier to, transact and manage, crypto. So I think this is definitely a good thing. Apparently he's got, crypto himself, although he doesn't have Bitcoin from what I'm reading. But he's got a number of different crypto assets. And I think this is overall great news. And it'll be great to see, some innovation in the US, because I know there's a lot of companies and a lot of people that were being held back, and now that shouldn't be the case necessarily. So yeah, what do you guys make of it?
Anyone's better than Big GG back in the day. Back in the
Wait, are you
back in the
sure? Are
day
you
when
sure? Are you
you
sure,
spiked
though?
it. I know. Not everyone's better than GG. With GG, we probably wouldn't have had a president that decides he wants to launch a meme coin without having some
We would have had pumped up fun.
Well, nah, bro, we had pumped up fun the whole of last year with GG in office. So
Yeah, but
he's Gary Gensler for everyone. that don't know.
He was on his last leg though. Like he was on his last. He was on his way out. So he was.
Gary
Still have
Gensler
cases.
If Gary Gensler was still
he
here,
was
the comp fund would be dead. But I'll tell you.
Yeah, I'm probably
Yeah.
dead, bro. Crypto.com will still have a case against it. Kraken, Coinbase, Binance, all of these cases got dropped when GG jumped out of office. OpenSea. So yeah, I mean, it's good news for the market. There's going to be less, I don't want to say less regulation. It sounds like there's going to be a different approach. And it looks like the SEC is dropping a bunch of cases. And also they're just like, listen, and I think they shut down their operation, what was it called? Operation Choke Point. Operation Choke Point was basically strangling any financial institution that was doing illicit activities, and a lot of the SEC cases were basically using that as a reason to jump in and investigate all these crypto companies. And not all of them are bad actors, obviously. Obviously, they caught some crazy ones like, Tornado Cash should have been put in the bin. But yeah, they also rounded up Ripple and Coinbase and all that stuff in there. So now that that's closed, we have a new SEC chair. I just feel like there is so much more potential for the market or even companies to be like, I'm going to go to the US to start my crypto company. Instead of having all these madness, like things are offshore in Malta, they're in the Bahamas, they're in blah, blah, blah. So yeah, this is good. As long as SBF doesn't get a pardon, this is good news.
It's got those political connects, man.
I know that.
Bro, listen here. Yes, I agree with what you said, Rick. Like, it is good this is a good time to start launching the crypto business, but if you're just launching meme coins, like, it's no point, bro. Like,
Facts.
I mean, this news doesn't affect you if you're just gonna launch a meme coin. So that's what you wanna do. You can do that, but at the end of the day, this is good for the market. But yeah, I'm trying to see what people will actually build, what hackathons will prove, and what will produce. Let's see if we've gotten out of the, meme coin utility phase, and we will go back to development phase, because those were the time. Remember when we were just all about building, launching apps, dApps, new protocol, this and that. That was a good time, because naturally, developers were building cool stuff, and that naturally attracted, retail, because there was obviously liquidity in the market, so it's calm. But all this, when's retail coming? All this BS. This market has been stupidly crazy, because all the money that was meant to go to retail, that was meant to be allocated to altcoins, was allocated to meme coins. So I'm personally still salty about that, because that ruined a lot of plans for me. But because like maybe a lot of my rants about meme coins, because I never really, like, I see a lot of people flexing a 6-figure or 7-figure P&L on X. I'm not one of those. Like, I'm telling you that. I didn't hit nothing of P or any of this meme coins, so I'm a little bit salty. But at the end of the day, it's obviously over, isn't it? Like, even if you're still out there and you believe that meme coins is going back up to, like, Murad, it's going back up to new highs, then you're uncertain still. So, because I don't see it, I just don't see it. So let's see if retail comes back, and then they actually come back into altcoins, and let's see what we do from there. But until then,
Retail aren't coming back, man.
What do you mean?
Especially
Cycle or ever?
I think retail are done with crypto, in my opinion.
No, but
They're done with crypto until something new and exciting and different comes through.
let
Yeah.
me float you a reason why people might come back to crypto. Yeah, let's say in a world where like AI systems and AI tech is becoming more prevalent and everything in this world. What if a company like OpenAI, which is already in talks, start using cryptocurrency for payments, start accepting cryptocurrency for payments? You know what I mean? Things that kind of trend could push retail, because I know retail uses this
I don't
technology.
think so, bro. Because they can just pay with cash.
They can pay with cash. Obviously, that is an option. But at the same time, that will also demonstrate how far along crypto's come, because if they always come into crypto and they get rugged and then they say, oh, buy meme coins, then they make the money. Buy altcoin, they make the money. If you're seeing it in real world actually being utilized for something good, that could change the mindset of retail, because they'll, as it stands right now, the mindset of crypto is that it's toxic, especially when it dumps aggressively. Not Bitcoin, but all these altcoins. Like, dude, I'm seeing the altcoin prices are so crazy right now. They're looking like bear market prices. Like, it's crazy. Like, you know what I mean? I never thought I saw Sui at $1.80. Like, you know what I mean? Rune is below $1. That's an exchange coin. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy. But yeah, man. So I don't really care for retail to come back, because I know they're not going to come back if QT doesn't end. And QT has to end if you want that another leg up, which we are going to get. I'm fully buying in on that. I mean, we are going to get a right translated market, which means we peak in Q3, Q4, and 2026, definitely recessionary. Definitely.
Yeah, I think well, there's two things I want to touch on. So the Fed had an emergency meeting, I believe 2 days ago or yesterday, and yeah, there's murmurs that they may cut rates soon. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next meeting. The second thing I want to mention is that will retail come back? Yeah, well, based off past data, I would say yes. Will it be the same people that came? Maybe not, because I think this market has really attracted, the lower
Scumbags.
What is this scumbags?
Yeah, bro.
Well done,
So
man,
would you
guy.
test, bro? This market, this resale market attracted scumbags. Hurry, bro.
Remember
with
October.
that.
Remember October, scumbag.
Scumbag.
Yeah, it's really attracted like the lowest level sort of degenerates that you can find, and it's not like there's always degens, yes, but this is obviously taking it to a new level. When you got people playing with like 10K market cap coins and all this type of stuff, so it's different. So when we're talking about the landscape changing with the new SEC chair, and making regulation easier, when you have a project that's a few $100 million or $1 billion and it's not jumping up and down like a meme coin on Pump Fun, and things are a bit more slower, I'm like, do they have the attention span now that they've been exposed to the dynamics of low cap meme coins, or has the Pandora's box been opened and you can't put it back in a box now that this type of mentality has sort of gone around and people have already experienced these sort of quick gains?
They're done, bro. These people are done, fam. These people have decided, like, bro, because you're right, bro. The type of people we need in the market for crypto to do like reasonably well, are your people that your older generation, your boomers that have they own most of their property or they don't have a mortgage to pay, and they want to give their kids something. They're like, oh, I'll put like 100,000 in Bitcoin instead of putting it in government treasury bonds or gilts or whatever they have it in. Like, we need those type of people in crypto, bro. Not your I think I told you, man, not your builders and your like your no, listen, and your unskilled labor force who just want to make a quick buck. Because bro, those type of people are in the market to say, I want to invest $1,000 or pounds today, and you know what, in 3 weeks time I want to get like 10 out so that I can go and like pay my mortgage or live my life or whatever. We need smarter money and like smarter retail money in crypto for crypto to do lot. Bro, I saw a video the other day, yeah. This is to give you man a reference. I saw a video yesterday, TikTok. This Don walks around and he's like, would you prefer a whole Bitcoin or unlimited Starbucks?
I posted that on our Instagram.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's where I saw it then. I was like, brother, how are these Beckies saying that they want unlimited Starbucks instead of $82,000, bruv? And one of them said something dumb. She was like, oh, I've heard that, people, they get Bitcoin and it goes up and it goes down. So I'd rather just have the Starbucks. What? Yeah, I'll go down.
As a gift,
I
It's something you didn't pay for.
I haven't seen that. I haven't not seen that.
I'll have to send it
That's
to you.
crazy.
It's crazy.
That's crazy. No, we need to make that go viral, fam.
Shocking.
The audacity to say Starbucks. You telling me, you're gonna have
He didn't
Starbucks?
say Starbucks stocks. He said Starbucks,
Of course,
That
he'll
Carol
get
Matt said
Starbucks.
Starbucks.
He said coffee, bruv. He said coffee, milk, and water, fam.
Wow.
Frappuccinos,
You get me?
them pumpkin spice
No.
lattes.
No sugar, no honey, just coffee. Nah, man. Seriously, yeah. Like I said, Becky's will be Becky's, man. So you know what I mean? Like I like, yeah. That one aside, don't get me started on that one. I'm good.
And with that, we'll see you guys in the next one.
Peace.